Hello, everyone. Today we are taking a look at the FlyBee16 04. Actually, I've got another video on this already back when I had a broken wrist. It's slower flying, so if you're looking for the tech specs, the weights, the measures, batteries, cruisy sort of flight times, that will be in this video. This is all about freestyling it or just trying to fly it in my typical manner. I think I started off the video by saying it was the FlyBee1604. Yeah, it's the FlyBee16 HD04, so official name there. Some weather stats, I always like to start with those so I don't forget. This particular flight was just the other day, and it was 60 glorious degrees. We do have a fair bit of wind, which it's not ideal for micros, but you know, it's a kind of time of year for me where as the seasons change we have winds. We generally have winds, but they tend to pick up, but those winds are 12 to 18 miles an hour, although I did note that it didn't feel like, at least during my time out here flying, that it kicked up anywhere near 18. You know, not that I have a unit of measurement on the hairs on my skin or something like that. It just didn't feel like it was getting anywhere near 20 miles an hour in the wind. So those might have been gusts that happen periodically, you know, in this hour of the day, because I do look on the Weather Underground website for the weather information, and they do break things down historically for me and make it nice and easy without having to pay for it. But so there is wind, and it does have a slight impact, of course, when it comes to all micros. I think in this case, because it's open propped, it's less dramatic. And one of the things that kind of caught me off guard is this is kind of a little powerhouse for something that's just running 40 millimeter props. It is 2S, and I'm not showing it, but I actually enjoyed flying it on the 380 milliamp battery a little bit more. It kind of gave me back a little bit of that agility feel that I just like. I have a bias towards that. Probably has a lot to do with my flight style, you know, the weaving in and out and flying low and just doing a punch every once in a while, stuff like that. But this is the 550, and it's a G&B. It's the red label. The green labels get you pretty close to the red labels. I don't pay attention to the C ratings. I don't have them memorized, and I don't have one out, but that's the battery. I cover actually all the batteries that fit inside the holsters for both this FlyBee16 as well as the FlyLens 85. I think it's in the FlyLens 85 video where I actually fit each one. So I'll link those videos down below in case you want that information. Again, the text, the specs, the cruisier sort of flight, the filming, which is kind of its design sort of flight, that is all kind of covered in that original video back when I had a broken wrist, which is actually quite a while ago, because after I got the cast off, boy, the weather just fell apart. More snow, terrible, terrible, bitter cold. Yeah, it's been a long haul, but it's pretty glorious right now, and I've been really enjoying myself being outside in the sun and being able to be outside without the cast on my wrist and gloves on my hands. So feels like FPV weather. But the flight is going to end here just in a moment. We get just right around 3 minutes of flight time, and that's pretty on par for the 550 in my experience. Of course, if you cruise around, you're going to get substantial more. I don't have that note in front of me at the moment, but you can get that from the other video. And here's where I go in and I'm changing my battery voltage because I didn't have the voltage warning low enough, in my opinion, so we wouldn't be annoyed by it. I didn't plan on actually using this video, but I thought it was a pretty good flight and showed you how it flew. So that's really it. I just, you know, I had to wait to get my mobility back and the weather to clear a little bit to take this guy outside. In my original video, I think I flew this inside, not what it's recommended for, and even I don't think most people or the manufacturer would either recommend this for flying like I just showed you, but it's something that I oftentimes do here on the channel, and I know that many people that revisit the channel come to expect it, because it's kind of designed like a filming quad. You know, it's a pusher and it's got the camera kind of proud up front. And by the way, this is the camera angle I was flying at, if you can see that very clearly. That's pretty much all I could get without putting a lot of pressure on that MIPI connector in the back, which we don't want to do because it is a bit potentially fragile. We're hearing of people breaking the connectors in various ways. So put a little glue between the board that the MIPI connector is connected to and the back of the camera board. Not on the MIPI connector. There's another board between those two. In the video that I just released on the Meteor 7504, I have a picture in it. So if you really want to look for that. but use your favorite glue in there. But I did kind of push it back to what I think is my prototypical camera angle. Many people ask me what this camera angle is. I don't know. What's that look like? 20, 25? I just kind of eyeball it. I have for a long, long, long time. And then when I go out and fly and I feel like I've gotten it wrong, either too much or too little, then I just make little finger adjustments. I don't measure it out. Of course, your camera in this case, you know, it's very proud. It's very out front. So if you go headlong into something, it's going to catch some damage. So that's the probably the thing I need to place the biggest importance on, is that if you want this style of quad, whether it's this particular one or one that's a little bit bigger, when they have that camera out front and you're out just kind of randomly flying around, if you're taking risks, the potential for damage to that camera is actually higher. And I don't think at this time you can buy the 04 Lite camera by itself. I could be wrong about that, but I think I looked about a week ago and I hadn't seen that pop up on any list yet. There might be some that act like they're for it, but you know, unless it's actually, you know, DJI, I would be a little bit skeptical, because it's just more complicated than just a camera that looks like it. But yeah, I was surprised, kind of a micro powerhouse. You know, it's only running 40mm props. But the thing that we've been seeing a lot on 40mm props is a lower pitch prop. We've actually been seeing a lot of lower pitch prop, ultralight props. And they went with the good old gem fans here that have a little bit more pitch, a little bit more grunt and carry to it. There are limitations when you're trying to fly something like this, especially with the 550 battery. When you go into those turns, it doesn't quite grip as much, so you've got to accentuate with a little bit more pitch, a little bit more throttle, and a little bit more yaw. You know, you just have to make adjustments, and then you might still get some prop wash. You can go back in the flight and see that. As is the case always with micros, when it comes to doing dives and coming in through stuff, feathering that throttle up is something that's kind of different on each and every micro, depending upon its weight and its power and prop and configuration. You know, the feathering in, it took me a few times of doing power loops or dives or something like that to kind of get that sorted out, so I wasn't coming in too flat with too little a throttle and I get the jitters. So that's kind of a micro thing as well. I think I've said that before, but if I haven't, just a random little tip, wanted to pop in this pretty short video for you. I really don't have any true complaints about it, other than it is what it is. If you're going to freestyle this and you're going to go into a bando or a concrete or you know, really hard surfaces, yeah, I had crashes in the backyard, but my yard is largely grass, and right now it's really soft because it's kind of mushy from all the snow melting. Really didn't suffer any damage. Really didn't even change out the props. I noticed the edges of the props got turned up a little bit, and I had some dirt around the camera that I just wiped off. But if you're flying in one of those really harsh environments, damage could be fairly serious, specifically with this camera being so proud and out front. They're really designed around getting footage and smooth, efficient flight rather than what I consider more fun flight. But I've shown you what it can do on both the smooth flight in the other video and a faster, my style sort of flight in this video. And if you have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know down in that comment section below. I appreciate your time and your patience, because I know it's been a while. Thanks for watching.